Pep Guardiola was the coach of Barcelona between 2008 to 2012. During this period, he signed a number of players. Today, we will be ranking Guardiola's 17 signings at Barcelona from the worst to the best. Pep Guardiola's legendary 4-year spell as Barcelona manager yielded unprecedented success and changed how the game is be played at the top level forever. The fledgling manager was blessed to inherit the likes of Xavi, Andre Iniesta, Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets when he took over in 2008. But how was his record with bringing players in? The club signed 17 players from 2008 to 2012. Some of them were having unqualified successes while others had next to no impact. So we have ranked them from the worst to the best. Number 17. Kerrison, who most of you might have not heard about this player. Well, exactly, believe it or not, Kerrison cost 12 million euro from Palmeiras in 2009. 20 years old at the time, he was touted to be the next big thing out of Brazil. But it is safe to say that potential went unfulfilled. He never made a competitive appearance for Barcelona, getting loaned out for 4 years before going back to Brazil on a free transfer to Coritiba. Number 16. Henrique. The same story as his compatriot Kerrison, except it started a year earlier. He cost 7 million euro from Palmeiras in 2008. He made no competitive appearances and had a series of loans away before cancelling his contract 4 years later. Number 15. Remco Kingreski. Guardiola reportedly earmarked the Ukrainian as the future of his backline, having watched him impress for Shakhtar Donetsk, but it immediately became clear to both player and manager that he couldn't feel the brief of playing out from the back. He was back with Shakhtar after just 1 year at Camp Nou. Still, he left with a La Liga title to stick on his honours list, having made 12 appearances in 2009 campaign. Number 14. Alexander Hilip. The Belarusian joined in the same summer as Guardiola himself, a hugely exciting time and the dawn of the most successful period in the club's history. Unfortunately for Hilip, he was a spectator on the bench for most of their treble-winning 2008 campaign and was subsequently shipped out on loan before a permanent transfer to Krylia Sovetov Samara in 2012. In his own words, he said he was happier at Arsenal. Number 13. Martin Ceziras. The Uruguayan centre-half has had a strange career, spent largely on the periphery of hugely successful teams. He won 6 Scudettos with Juventus for starters, the first and the last which came during loan spells away from Sevilla and Lazio respectively. He also played a key role in Copa del Rey, part of Barcelona's 2009 treble, so his time with Barcelona wasn't entirely without a merit. Number 12. Ibrahim Afellay. A 4-time title winner with PSV, it was thought the time was right for Afellay to join Guardiola's all-conquering Barcelona in 2010, following in the footsteps of the club's many legendary Dutchmen. His Barcelona career might well have been fairly forgettable overall, but no one can take away his assist for Messi's opener away to Real Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League, doing Marcelo like a keeper. Number 11. Maxwell. Zidane's best mate, it was no surprise that he joined him at Camp Nou in 2009. The Brazilian left-back was alright, we suppose. We suspect he might have written his glowing style of play entry on Wikipedia himself though. Number 10. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Removing the wider context, Ibrahimovic wasn't a terrible signing. He scored a respectable 16 goals in 29 La Liga appearances, including the only goal in a 1-0 win over Madrid, as he's done pretty much everywhere. He won the league in his one and only season with the club, but it was clear there was a personality clash with his manager and that had wider ramifications in the dressing room and around their Champions League semi-final exit to Jose Mourinho's Inter. To make matters worse, the player they would shipped out to sign Ibrahimovic with significant financial hit. Samuel Eto'o got won over his old club and claimed a second straight treble at Inter. Number 9. Jose Manuel Pinto. The backup goalkeeper's on-pitch contribution might have been rare and often questionable. His place in the team arguably cost Barcelona the title with an unexpected run in the place of injured Victor Valdés, with Atletico Madrid edging them in 2013. But by all accounts, he was a hugely popular figure in the dressing room and adored by Messi, having joined on a free transfer from Celta Vigo following an earlier loan. That kind of morale-boosting influence is priceless. Number 8. Adriano. One of many players originally scouted and signed by Munchi at Sevilla before going on to Barcelona. Brazilian utility man, Adriano was a more than useful club servant. He spent 6 years with the club, making over 100 La Liga appearances. Number 7. Cesc Fabregas. Fabregas' Barcelona trophy haul comprises of 1 La Liga title and 1 Copa del Rey during his 3-year spell back at his boyhood club, which in the context of that wider era is actually very paltry. The return of prodigal son wasn't quite when it was cracked up to be. Having been teased for years at Arsenal, the club lifted the Champions League this summer before he joined, and that season after he left. He wasn't Javi's heir as many had hoped that he would be, and it was actually the less naturally Barca-like Ivan Rakitic that slotted more seamlessly in the place of Xavi, offering greater balance in midfield after he joined in 2014. Still, Fabregas was supremely technically gifted, and his peak lived up to the standards demanded of him, especially during the club's record 100 points tally La Liga win of 2012, with the late great Tito Villanova succeeding Guardiola in the dugout. Number 6. Alexis Sanchez. Highly rated from his time at Udinese, Barcelona fought off a lot of competition to get the Chilean's signature in 2011. He occasionally showed the dynamism that Premier League audiences would become accustomed to during his spell at Arsenal, but also lacked discipline, and his greedy tendencies reportedly frustrated his teammates. His 3-year spell with Barcelona coincided with Fabregas between 2011 and 2014, relatively barren in the context of what came before and after. Number 5. Seydou Keita. Guardiola's 4-year as Barcelona manager coincided with the Mali's international time at the club, overlooked a little in the shadow of Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets. Keita certainly wasn't unprecedented by his manager, who handed him nearly 200 appearances over 4 seasons. Another one. They can thank Sevilla's director of football Munchi for having signed him from their La Liga rivals in 2008. Number 4. Javier Mascherano. With Busquets indispensable at the base of midfield, Javier Mascherano would have to do something special to find a place in Barcelona's starting 11 after making the switch from Liverpool in 2010. And that he did, shocking everyone, to put in some brilliant performances in Barcelona's defense, stepping up when captain Carles Puyol was sidelined through injury and subsequently retired. Mascherano had tenacity, energy and a brilliant ability to read the game, which made up for his lack of height or physicality in Barcelona's backline. Not even he would have expected to make over 300 appearances, winning 5 La Liga titles, 5 Copa del Rey and 2 Champions League during his 8 years at the club. Number 3. David Villa. The striker that they really ought to have signed instead of Ibrahimovic in 2009, given how consistently brilliant he was for years with Valencia and Spain. It should have been no surprise how seamlessly Villa adapted to Barcelona when he finally joined them at the age of 28. He scored 23 goals in his first season at the club, completing an absolutely irresistible forward line with Messi and Pedro as they won Champions League and La Liga in 2010, a key cog in arguably their greatest ever team. Number 2. Dani Alves. The Brazilian had already established himself as one of the best players in La Liga at Sevilla, somehow looking the focal point of their team, even at the right back, winning the Copa del Rey and 2 UEFA Cups between 2005 and 2007. Guardiola's first major marquee signing, he arrived for 31 million euro in 2008 and was worth every penny. The last but not least, number 1, Gerard Piqué. Having worked with Barcelona with the likes of Pedro and Busquets, Guardiola immediately identified another La Masia graduate as the missing piece of his puzzle in the summer of 2008. The centre half has never looked back since his return from Manchester United. He developed his game, learning alongside Puyol, and has subsequently become a leader himself, unafraid to speak out when political issues, Catalan independence off the pitch, putting in cultured performances on it, and even taking a heavy pay cut as Barca have struggled financially of late. And when he realized the time came to hang up his boots, he did it without a fuss. His return to Barcelona in 2008 can be seen as one of the pivotal moments that ushered in an era of total domination. 14 full seasons, 2 trebles, 8 La Liga titles, 7 Copa del Rey, and 3 Champions League, and probably a future club precedent, and our winner as well.